Find us online at newsradio710.com. From the Spring Hill Toyota Traffic Center.
Heavy delays are developing on the Bayway. Heading from I-65 to the Eastern Shore, it's a 34-minute drive. Watch for an accident in Milton, southbound on Avalon Boulevard at Cyanamid Road. Also at the Cochrane Bridge, east on Highway 90, it's a 13-minute drive. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Lisa Baque.
This report is sponsored by Dairy Queen. The only thing better than grabbing a Blizzard treat on a warm, sunny day would be snagging a second one for just 99 cents with the Blizzard Double Flip Deal. It's buy one Blizzard treat, get another one for just 99 cents when you order in the DQ app. DQ. Happy tastes good for limited time at participating U.S. locations.
If you see traffic trouble, call the Acadian Windows traffic tip line at pound 250, keyword total traffic when prompted. Acadian Windows, your hurricane protection specialists.
The Uncle Henry Show, weekday afternoons from 5 till 7.
The people in West Mobile need to go ahead and incorporate immediately, if not sooner. Establish their little town and then do the same thing to Mobile that Mobile is trying to do to them. Take the...
What was that?
Pardon?
What was that?
That was my little bird, Quaker. He talks, but sometimes he just squeals.
This is the Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM. Thank you. I appreciate very much you listening to the Uncle Henry Show. I really do. Once again, here we are together. Just the two of us, me and you here. Trying to figure out what is going on. What is going on in this world around us? What has gotten into people these days? If you'd like to tell me, or maybe you've got more questions, whatever it is, telephone lines are open for you now, 251-479-2723. That's 251-479-2723. Email address, unclehenry@iheartmedia.com. That's unclehenry@iheartmedia.com. Yes, here we are together. So many things to talk about on the Uncle Henry Show. So many things going on at just about every level that we can talk about here on the Uncle Henry Show. I did see throughout the day that the Attorney General of the United States of America out, Pam Bondi out. No idea who will be the replacement, but Pam Bondi out as Attorney General for the United States of America. Now, probably good. Now, I don't know. I have no idea who could replace her because you're limited to who the Senate will confirm. And you may have noticed the Senate, they don't seem to really like to do the stuff that President Trump would like done. So I don't know. I don't know who you're going to get confirmed through the Senate. But Pam Bondi out. I did have some complaints about Pam Bondi. There was and maybe I was wrong, but there was at least the perception of not doing much. I mean, that was just a perception. Maybe she was working very hard, and I just it was behind the scenes. It was real smart stuff. Real smart. Sitting in a room, ordering lawyers around. But I didn't get that perception. I had a perception. Maybe my perception was wrong. Could be. But I had the perception that there wasn't a lot going on. Maybe she'll tell us on her way out. Maybe there'll be a list of all the things. Maybe there'll be all the different lawyers she ordered around that we can hear about later. But I had the perception not a lot was going on. There were, at the beginning of the Trump administration, there seemed to be a lot of candidates for looking into a lot of candidates for looking into and possibly prosecuting for this, that, and the other. And it just, none of that ever materialized. So there was a perception, maybe an incorrect perception, but there was a perception of not doing much of nothing. I will give her the credit for this. She may have set a record for number of times an attorney general has gone on Fox News. And she was on there some days more than once. She, I think the first couple of months, it was almost every day she would be in there. I kept wondering, how is she getting anything done being on Fox so much? But anyway, Pam Bondi out. And now they got to figure who can they pick? Who can they pick to be the new attorney general that can get a Senate confirmation? You know, they're very tough up there, confirming people. You saw what they've done to some of the other nominees for different things. Who can they get? I'm sure that no phone calls will be going to Jeff Sessions. His phone probably not ringing at this point. But you know, we do have somebody in Mobile that is, I guess, similar to Pam Bondi that could probably do the job and probably do a much better job than Pam Bondi, and that would be the former DA, Ashley Rich. Yes, I said it. The former DA, Ashley Rich. I think she would make an outstanding attorney general for the United States of America. Now, the reason I say that, you're probably thinking, well, Uncle Henry, maybe she did an outstanding job as DA in Mobile, but is she qualified for something like that? Well, I don't know. Do you need to be? If the job just means going on Fox a lot and handing out binders to people and stuff, maybe you don't have to have a lot of qualifications. But I think she is. She's got my favorite qualification. Ashley Rich, the former DA, has my favorite qualification for being Attorney General of the United States of America. And that qualification is, I believe after watching her at work through the years, that she really has a fire for prosecuting people. She does. Ashley Rich does have she did, I don't know now, maybe she's enjoying not being DA. She had quite a fire for prosecuting people. He'd prosecute you. Yeah. Even something like selling a vape to an underage person. She'd go after you. That'd be good. It'd be nice to have somebody up there in the Attorney General's office that just sat around and thought, who can we go after today? Only the people that we think should be prosecuted. But she'd be good. But I'm sure there's other candidates that we'll hear about that'll also do a great job going on Fox and handing out binders to people in the future. You know, somebody that wanted to be Attorney General really bad years ago was Senator Ted Cruz. You know, that might be something good for him, is to get Ted Cruz. I know you say you might want him in the Senate, but there's plenty of Texas. Texas is big. I'm sure they can find other overweight lawyers that could be senators. Ted Cruz might make a good attorney general. He certainly could go on Fox a lot, and he's really good at talking, giving out legal arguments. So maybe Ted Cruz would be somebody that they could pull in there and be the attorney general. All right, anyway, there's many other things to talk about, and I feel like I'm going to get to a lot of them today on the Uncle Henry Show. Going to take a time out now, heading into a break for traffic, weather, words from our sponsors. I haven't been out in it much today, but I've heard that there's plenty of traffic today. So we have your traffic report coming up, a weather forecast, words from the sponsors, and then more Uncle Henry Show. If you'd like to listen to previous Uncle Henry shows, for what, I don't know why, but they're there as podcasts. You can find them on the iHeartRadio app. Just look for Uncle Henry's Show on the iHeartRadio app.
In Pensacola, watch for a crash on West Fairfield Drive at Mobile Highway. Also, we still have a crash with injury and road blockage, Avalon Boulevard at Cyanamid Road in Milton, and also a crash in Milton, Highway 87 at Technology Avenue. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Lisa Baque.
This report is sponsored by
Technology Avenue. That is quite an interesting name.
and Lowe's Pro Rewards members get free same-day delivery on eligible orders over $25. Order by 2 p.m. and get eligible in-stock items delivered to your job site by 8 p.m. See terms at Lowe's.com/shipping terms, subject to change.
If you see traffic trouble, call the Acadian Windows traffic tip line at pound 250, keyword total traffic when prompted. Acadian Windows, your hurricane protection specialists.
Having a and the small number of YouTube viewers, hello to you. Hello to Siva. Hello to Siva, Excalibur One Force, Bama Big Man, Sharon of Fairhope, Shino Bucks World, Larry Morting, Norman Richardson. Hello, good to see Norman Richardson. Wonderful meeting you, Norman, out there at Pool and Spa Superstore. And Roll Tide to you, Bama Big Man. Thank you for your Roll Tide. All right, viewers on YouTube, going to be back on the radio in about 3 minutes. Hoping that I have, I'm really hoping something will pop into my head to talk about. I've got plenty of things to talk about, but I'm hoping for something even better to pop into my head. Just that, maybe I'll get stricken by an idea. Before I get stricken by an idea, let me look and see if there's anything I can tell you about while waiting to go back on the radio. Let's see, a school in Maryland, Bel Air High in Maryland, has had to replace 4 toilets. And I apologize for bringing that up. But this is a public service announcement. Bel Air High School in Maryland, they have had to replace 4 toilets after students flushed vapes down the toilets. And I don't know what it is, but there's something about the vapes going into the toilet that has wrecked the toilets. I don't know the science behind this. Is there science behind this? Now the school is taken to a wanding policy at the door to make sure no student is bringing a vape into the building. So instead of checking for guns, they're checking for vapes due to toilet damage. All right, there is a woman named Tiana Moon that has been blocked from social media because her chest is so large that social media, and they think that it's not real, that it's AI generated. So she's real. Her chest is so big that the internet thinks it's fake, and it's getting her blocked from social media. It's stopping her from her only source of income right now is on OnlyFans. So she's right now blocked from her, I don't know if you'd call it a job. But prayers out for Tiana Moon.
This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
This is the Uncle Henry Show. News headlines coming up in 10 minutes. Telephone number to call the Uncle Henry Show, 251-479-2723. That's 251-479-2723. Email address, unclehenry@iheartmedia.com. That's unclehenry@iheartmedia.com. Before I go to any voicemails or anything like that, or even thoughts that have popped into my head, because every now and again a thought will just pop in there. Before I go to any of that, I'm going to go to some email that has come in, the old-fashioned electronic mail messages that people type out. I've received some, so let me go to the email inbox. Subject line on the email is PSA for voters. The email reads as follows. Hi, Uncle Henry. I was contacted to work the polls for our primary in May. I asked the lady about where we were going to be stationed, as Three Circle Church is under construction due to that fire a few months back. So I was told voters should be sent something in the mail about voting at St. Pius on Sage Avenue. Because I know several of your listeners vote at the old Three Circle Church location on Sage Avenue, it might be a good idea to call Mobile County Board of Registrars to be sure of your voting place. I hope everyone gets out and votes on May 19th. Take care, Uncle Henry. Literally. Exclamation point. And that email is from Tuskers. Tuskers, thank you for your email. Thank you for still listening to the Uncle Henry Show and trying to get the word out. And she typed out the word literally in all capital letters. So Tuskers, if you are listening, I am going to take care, and I'm going to take care literally. Thank you for that. Again, the email address, unclehenry@iheartmedia.com. That's unclehenry@iheartmedia.com. I've got another email in the Uncle Henry Show email inbox. This is an official email I got today from the communications department of the city of Mobile, Alabama. Subject line on the email, name of Mobile's new arena, naming rights partner to be unveiled April 7. The email reads as follows. City of Mobile officials and project partners will celebrate the unveiling of the official name and naming rights partner for the new entertainment arena coming to Mobile next year. Opening in early 2027, the 10,000-seat arena currently under construction at the site of the former Mobile Civic Center will be a true game changer for the region. This announcement will further the momentum the project has seen as it remains on time and on budget. The $300 million facility will serve as the foundation for continued investment in a new entertainment district on the 22-acre site. Media is asked to arrive for the event by 1:45 p.m. Tuesday, April 7th. Opportunities for interviews will be available after brief remarks and the unveiling. So that is coming up next Tuesday. So next Tuesday we're going to have the fun of finding out the name of the new arena, and we're going to find out who is the naming rights partner. Now, I guess when you're getting a naming rights partner, almost anything is good because you want the cash. You want the cash. But I do hope it's not. And no offense to previous naming rights partners for different events in Mobile, but we did have like the peanut butter. What was it? The Reese's Pieces Bowl or something like that, which is fine. But I hope that there's something not. I hope it's not something like the Twizzlers Arena. You know what I'm saying? I hope it's nothing like the Tidy Bowl Arena. You know, we just want it to be. We don't want it to be something that. You don't want anything that a middle schooler can make fun of. That would be. To me, when I'm thinking of names for stuff, you don't want something that middle schoolers will be able to make fun of. So anyway, looking forward to that. That's Tuesday afternoon. We'll find out Tuesday afternoon. And the announcement will further the momentum, which is good. All right, 251-479-2723, the telephone number. Hello, caller.
Hey, Uncle Henry.
Hey!
Letitia James.
Who?
I think that's Letitia James.
Okay.
That's the one that went after Trump, you know, with Mar-a-Lago. And she's still walking free. You know, Trump's been trying to get her, you know, she had done a bunch of fraud, and Pam Bondi ain't done nothing about her.
Right.
So I think that might have something to do with it, too, is that she's been kind of thumbing the nose at Trump that she had a bunch of insurance fraud, allegedly, that she's been able to get away with. I think they've got another case against her where she claimed she was using a property part-time that was in Florida or something or other.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering whether or not the fact that Pam Bondi didn't really do well with Letitia James or with the Epstein files, you know, people still asking about that stuff. So,
hey, do you remember that was it Comey? There was somebody that they had the statute of limitations running out on charges, and they had to pull some attorney from the private sector out and deputize him and get him in there to try and get an indictment at the last. Do you remember this? It was all last-minute stuff. Why on earth would you have to do stuff like that if you had a good attorney general?
I don't know. And then they had the Georgia deal with that woman there, but I think that kind of went away. The Georgia lady, she's having an affair with the counselor there, but I think all those charges got dropped now on Trump on that one. But I know the one in New York with the Mar-a-Lago thing, where they was trying to go after him on that.
Yeah.
She was just trying to find anything she could to go after him. And, you know, there was a bunch of fraud. They found out somebody uncovered stuff that she had done. But Pam Bondi never followed up with it. So I know she didn't do that. And then the fact of this, the Epstein files, you know, that was. But, you know, I was listening to Dan Bongino the other day, and he's like a big advocate, especially of the Epstein files. And he kind of was on the Trump administration. He kind of dropped out. But I'm just wondering whether or not Trump would want to get him back in, because he was a big advocate of the Epstein stuff. So I'm just wondering whether or not Trump would invite him back into the administration to really, you know, maybe find out what really was going on with that and kind of clear Trump's name when it comes to Epstein stuff, because people just don't seem to think. You know, I talk to these Democrats and they talk, oh, you know, Trump, he's corrupt. He's part of the Epstein thing. And I'm thinking the Democrats are the ones that arrested Epstein. And
yes, exactly. Hey, sir, I got to run into the news break, but thank you for your phone call. I appreciate it.
Crews remain on the scene of a crash with injury and road blockage in Milton on Avalon Boulevard at Cyanamid Road. Watch for a crash on Pensacola Boulevard at West Hood Drive. Very slow on the Bayway. East on I-10 from I-65 to the Eastern Shore. It's a 43-minute drive. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Lisa Baque.
This report is sponsored by Staples. Staples has hundreds of great ways to boost your brand. Like
it is, it's reassuring that people still staple things. That's a technology that's it's good, stapling. I think it still is.
It was easy.
If you see traffic trouble, call the Acadian Windows traffic tip line at pound 250, keyword total traffic when prompted. Acadian Windows, your hurricane protection specialists.
I'm Cameron Taylor with Fox 10 News. Mobile police say a 16-year-old boy is now the third person arrested in a deadly shooting on Forest Glen Court. Investigators say it happened on March 22nd. The teen is facing several charges including murder, first-degree assault, and 3 counts of shooting to a vehicle. The case is tied to the killing of Willie Allen and another person who was hurt in that attack. Gas prices keep climbing in Mobile as conflict in the Middle East pushes costs higher across the country. AAA saying the average price per gallon in Alabama was about $2.65 a month ago, $3.60 just last week, and now around $3.76. Nationwide, drivers are paying more than $4 a gallon. Local gas station workers say customers are constantly asking where to find the cheapest gas and when prices will come down. Some drivers are cutting back on trips, using loyalty points, paying cash, or using gas price apps to save what they can. So far, there's no clear sign of when prices will level off. Expectant parents in Mobile got a little extra support this week. The Alabama Cooperative Extension System hosted a community baby shower with the theme, April Showers Bring Safe Little Flowers. Families took part in infant safety workshops on things like choking, car seats, and picked up free baby items and giveaways.
How did mankind survive without these special workshops?
New and expecting parents with resources in Mobile County. I'm Cameron Taylor with Fox 10 News on this iHeartRadio station.
This is News Radio 710 WNTM.
Fox News, I'm John Saucier. President Trump firing his Attorney General Pam Bondi today, says she'll work to transition the office to now acting Attorney General Todd Blanche before taking a job in the private sector. White House border czar Tom Homan on the Fox News Channel says he has a close relationship with the now former Attorney General.
I have her personal cell phone number. We talk quite a bit. Same with Todd Blanche. I talk to Todd Blanche very frequently to talk about immigration cases, right? Not only prosecuting smugglers and traffickers, about suing sanctuary cities and taking action against agitators.
Connecticut Democratic Congressman Jim Himes, the ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee, says Bondi will be remembered for her unprecedented politicization and weaponization of the Justice Department. And Secretary of War Pete Hegseth has asked Army Chief of Staff General Randy George to step down. The Pentagon saying today as the United States continues its military action against Iran. America's listening to Fox News.
All right. YouTube viewers going to be back on the radio here in just a few minutes. The Mad Trucker. There's the Mad Trucker. Excalibur One Force asking about the ballroom. Pat Nelly, hey, whenever callers irritate you, the proper response is to actually call in and be a caller yourself. Now, let's see. What can I tell you about while waiting to go back on the radio? Yes, I am looking for the weird news. Okay, there is a company, a startup company called R3 Bio that is backed by a billionaire. And the pitch for this company is growing cloned bodies, cloned human bodies that you could have your brain transplanted into. The founder of the company, R3 Bio, has been giving private seminars. This sounds like the beginning of a really bad movie, doesn't it? A Detroit toddler is safe now. He was accidentally taken away when his family's car got repossessed, and he was in the car during the repossession. They got him back.
This is News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show, News Radio 710 WNTM. You can also hear me on FM radio. I play country music on 95 KSJ Monday through Friday between 10 and 2. Listen to me tomorrow to find out how you can win tickets to see Morgan Wallen in Tuscaloosa, April 18th, Bryant-Denny Stadium. Roll, Tide, roll! Your chance to win Morgan Wallen tickets. Find out how by listening to 95 KSJ with me tomorrow. Telephone number here on the Uncle Henry Show, 251-479-2723. That's 251-479-2723. Email address, unclehenry@iheartmedia.com. The last caller we had before I went to break was talking about Pam Bondi and things that he thought she might have got wrong or did wrong. He mentioned the Epstein files and all that stuff. I'm still don't know what to say about all that, because the idea that if there was some really, and this comes up on other topics as well, because I keep seeing reports that the government will find files that were hidden away somewhere. Hey, we just found a file cabinet somewhere up here in Washington, and we found some files in here. Listen to this. We've had a few of those stories in the last couple of years, including the Epstein files. Now, if there's really bad stuff, really, really bad stuff in some files somewhere that would make the government look really, really bad, why would you keep those files? If you're already corrupt, if you're up there and you're already corrupt and you've been doing bad, why would you keep a record of it and leave it there for the next crew to find? I find, what do I not understand about malfeasance and doing bad things? I'm obviously not understanding something. Why would you keep up if there is evidence of the government being really bad? We got evidence here. There's a secret film that we've got hidden away in a file cabinet in the Department of Justice that proves that so-and-so killed JFK and not Lee Harvey Oswald. Why would you keep it? Why would anybody have it? Anyway, that's something maybe somebody could explain it to me one day. Why would you, if there's really bad things up there? And they say, and I've seen these stories in the last few weeks where, hey, we just went into this room and there was a file cabinet. And no, I don't buy that. Not yet anyway. 251-479-2723, the telephone number. That's 251. I'm not saying there's not Epstein files. It's just if there's something really bad that would implicate current government officials, you telling me there's somebody's keeping these records? For what purpose? All right, let's see. 251-479-2723, the telephone number. That's 251-479-2723. Email address, unclehenry@iheartmedia.com. Now, you can leave me voicemail messages. I've given that number out, 251-216-1976. But you can also leave talkback messages for the Uncle Henry Show. The talkback, there's a microphone in the iHeartRadio app. If you're listening to News Radio 710 WNTM on the iHeartRadio app, just tap the red microphone, and you can leave me a message anytime you want to. Now, let's see. This message came in, and I apologize to this man because I didn't check my talkback messages. This came in a couple of days ago.
Hey, Uncle Henry. This message is for Snake Trapper. Apparently, I have a possum that gave birth under my house, and now I have little baby possums walking around in my carport, and I do not want to kill them. They're way too cute. So if he wants some baby possums, I can catch him in a Have a Heart trap and tell him to pay attention to his Facebook page. I will trap him and give them to him if he wants. Bye.
All right, sir. And that man, and I want to apologize to that man because I forgot about that talk back, and then the man called back later and said that there's no longer have the issue of the baby possums. And I don't want to go any further into this. I don't want to have anybody out there heartbroken over the fate of possums. But sir, thank you for leaving the talk back, and I apologize for not getting to it sooner. Here on News Radio 710 WNTM. Again, 251-479-2723, the telephone number. Now, when you're listening to our station on the iHeartRadio app, you can leave a message for any show. That means if you're listening to Clay and Buck, you can leave a message for them. Now, I get to hear it, but it also goes to their producer. Yesterday, somebody left a message for Jesse Kelly, the Jesse Kelly Show, and apparently Jesse Kelly was talking about the this moonshot we're doing, the Artemis 2, where we're sending astronauts to go around the moon. And apparently Jesse Kelly didn't want to talk about it.
Jesse Kelly, you just don't get it. You're talking about you don't care about the space stuff and going to different planets or whatever. Look at the bigger picture. Think deeper. Think deeper. We get all the stupid people, that's Democrats and Marxists and socialists, to move their butts to Mars.
All right, so, and I hope that Jesse Kelly used that on his show, like I did. But whoever that was, they were able to send the message to Jesse Kelly. Again, News Radio 710 WNTM on the iHeartRadio app. Just look for the red microphone button. You can send those messages to Jesse Kelly, Clay and Buck, Glenn Beck, Sean Hannity, and to me. And speaking of this idea of sending leftists into space, I got a call about that years ago from one of the original callers of the Uncle Henry Show, the idea guy.
Hey, Uncle Henry, so I see where Nancy Pelosi says that they're just trying to save the planet. Look, I don't want her to save my planet, so I've thought maybe we get the space shuttle back out since we're not going to use it anymore and get as many Democratic leaders as we can possibly put on it and send it up to space and just don't ever bring it back. And I feel pretty confident within a year of the Democratic leaders being in space, they'll probably screw up Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus. Every planet they can get to will be bankrupt and screwed up. Even if there's no form of life on it, they will still screw it up.
I think that is an accurate prediction of what would happen. Somehow a planet would end up being in debt somehow. It would happen. It would happen. And speaking of the space program.
But this is why I'm calling. They said we're in a recession. Well, why are they spending billions of dollars to send things up into space when charity begins at home? Spend those billions of dollars on this earth. Do you know why people speak in different languages? If you knew the Bible, then...
Well, yes, the Tower of Babel story, yes.
Right, they wanted to try to climb up to heaven and couldn't get there. And so they all began to speak in different languages, because you can't get to heaven until you die. And that's my comment for today. I just don't think it's right that people should be starving when God gave us this land. And be starving to death while you're sending billions of dollars up into space. God takes care of his own heaven. And so we as human beings should take care of our earth with his help.
Yes, well, I still think this is good. I like the idea that we've got really smart people like Musk figuring out how to send rockets beyond the moon. Eventually, if they ever put a Waffle House on the moon, we'll all have a reason to go. Get to work.
From the Spring Hill Toyota Traffic Center.
Crews remain on the scene of a crash with injury and road blockage in Milton on Avalon Boulevard at Cyanamid Road. Watch for a crash on Pensacola Boulevard at West Hood Drive. Very slow on the Bayway. East on I-10 from I-65 to the Eastern Shore. It's a 43-minute drive. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Lisa Baque.
This report is sponsored by Straight Talk Wireless.
YouTube viewers, if there are any, let me see. Let me check. And I see you, Pat Nelly, thank you. I'll look forward to your call tomorrow. Larry Morton, thank you for being there. All right, what can I tell you? Let's see. Programming note. Yes, I will be here tomorrow. Next week, of the 5 days of Uncle Henry Show, I think I've got guests 4 out of the 5. Yes! Going to have a lot of guests in next week on the Uncle Henry Show. There'll actually be people to look at on camera next week on the Uncle Henry Show. I got guests lined up for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I'm looking for Friday. I'm looking for somebody for next Friday. All right, let me see. What can I tell you about while waiting to go back on the radio? I was looking at the weird news. I told you about the cloning company. All right, let's see. This is a story that the Snake Trapper would appreciate. A couple on vacation in Thailand. They went to the resort town of Krabi, or could be pronounced Krabi. I don't know. Krabi. A couple on vacation in Thailand in the resort town of Krabi. Their vacation turned terrifying. This past Friday morning, one of the couple woke up screaming because a large black cobra was on their neck. They woke up to a cobra laying on their neck. The hotel staff called the Krabi version of Snake Trapper. They have a Snake Trapper in Krabi. I don't know what his name is, but they called their local Snake Trapper. They're in Krabi in Thailand. And he showed up and found the cobra hiding under the bed. It was a 5-foot-long cobra released back into the wild. No mention of the name of the hotel. I would like to know what kind of review would you leave of a hotel if you found a cobra on your neck when you woke up in the morning? All right, back on the radio here in less than 30 seconds, or about 30 seconds.
On Easter Sunday in your long-range forecast. I'm Fox 10 News Chief Meteorologist Jason Smith for this iHeart Radio station.
This report is sponsored by True Green. Warmer weather is here, and the weeds aren't far behind. But the lawn care pros at True Green are ready. Don't wait. Sign up at TrueGreen.com by April 7th and get 6 weeks free. Let the pros do the work so you can enjoy your weekend. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
Available everywhere with the iHeartRadio app. Now #1 for podcasting. This is News Radio 710 WNTM, an iHeartRadio station.
Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM. We have news headlines from Fox coming up here in a little less than 10 minutes, and then there's more Uncle Henry Show. Let me see if I've got a few more voicemails. Voicemail number 251-216-1976. That's 251-216-1976. The number to leave a message for the Uncle Henry Show. I got another brief voicemail with some Bible verses in there.
Proverbs chapter 1, verses 8 and 9. My son, hear the instruction of your father, and do not forsake the law of your mother, for they will be a graceful ornament on your head and chains about your neck.
All right. 68-year-old Chris of West Loxley, thank you again for phoning in Bible verses. Thank you for phoning in Proverbs to the Uncle Henry Show. Again, the voicemail number 251-216-1976. That's 251-216-1976 to leave a message for the Uncle Henry Show. Now, let's see. I've got a voicemail from longtime caller Buford.
Henry, here's Buford. Henry just went to the Walmart in Tillman's Corner. That's the Walmart we go to, and drive into the parking lot, and I am bombarded by a tremendous amount of vagrants exercising their vagrancy all throughout the parking lot. Henry, it was as if the vagrants had invaded Normandy Beach. They were everywhere. And I'm like, my Lord, there's always vagrants at the Walmart. But here there's some dadgum organization putting on a feeding and clothing event for the vagrants. I wish these soft-headed, soft-hearted morons would stop encouraging the vagrancy.
Now, Buford, these people, all these folks are doing, they're trying to help their fellow man. That's all they're doing. Buford, that's all they're trying to help their fellow man. They see people that need help. They're just trying to help them out. I don't know that do you feel like it's, Buford, do you really feel like it's encouraging vagrancy? Do you think that when people see that there's clothes being handed out to the homeless, that they would be encouraged to become homeless? I don't understand.
Encouraging the vagrancy. Henry, I'm trying to trap me a big old vicious coyote in my backyard. You know what I do?
What?
I leave out free food. He keeps coming around until I'm able to get him in that trap and properly dispose of him. And Henry, the coyote's favorite bait is Hart's Fried Chicken. He was a Parkway coyote through and through. But Henry...
Now, I will unpause, but that is that concept that the coyote in your neighborhood is a Parkway coyote and prefers Hart's Fried Chicken. I wonder if there are different preferences for the coyotes based on what part of town they're in. I wonder if the Midtown coyotes in my neighborhood prefer Popeyes or something. Now, if they're coming around my house, it's always Greer's Fried Chicken, which I may be trying to pick some Greer's Fried Chicken up in just a little while after the show is over. But back to your voicemail.
The vagrants are the same way. To these organizers of this vagrant feeding and clothing organization, you're bringing all the daggone vagrants and the criminal element to the Walmart where you have families trying to shop for overpriced food and goods. How about this notion? Put it on its own daggum house. Bring the vagrants to your own house if you want to feed and clothe them. Man, I tell you what, Henry, absolutely aggravating and disgusting. Anyway, Henry, you have a good day, and if you're going to the Walmart Tillman's Corner, make sure you are heavily armed, because it will be absolutely infested with about triple the load of vagrants that it normally is until they wander on off. Anyway, Henry, you have a good day.
Buford, thank you for your voicemail. Now, Buford, I would listen tomorrow after 6 o'clock, because I'm trying to get another homeless advocate to come on the air, and I'm going to ask him about this. I'm going to ask him about your perception that it is encouraging vagrancy. I'm going to ask the homeless advocate that, because these are very kind people trying to help their fellow man. And I do not believe they're trying to aggravate you. In fact, I'm pretty sure they're not trying to aggravate you, Buford. They just see people that need help. They're trying to help these folks. Anyway, tomorrow, Buford, be listening tomorrow. I'll ask about your concerns. All right, coming up, we have news headlines from Fox, and then more Uncle Henry's show. What have they been up to this week in Montgomery? We'll get into some of that after the news break.
I'm Chad Pergram with the Speaker's Lobby. Congress on vacation. A skeleton crew on Capitol Hill as the DHS funding stalemate deepens.
Well, you too, viewers, thank you. Thank you for watching, whatever your purpose. Whatever your purpose. I will be here tomorrow on Good Friday. It will probably be like today. Probably very similar. I might catch a stray call toward the bottom of the hour. So anyway, tomorrow, until then, have a pleasant evening and a pleasant tomorrow.
Without a solution doesn't fix the problem. Democrats say House Republicans could have ended the shutdown had they approved the Senate's bill with a bipartisan coalition. Washington Democrat Adam Smith said that House Republicans, quote, don't want to pass anything with Democratic votes, which is a weird way to run the government. This likely means the DHS shutdown lingers until Congress meets in the middle of April. With the Speaker's Lobby, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
Hey, Uncle Henry here with two people who know a thing or two about financial stability. Meet John McNeil and Virginia O'Brien with Mobile Bay Financial Solutions.
Hi, I'm John. In today's unpredictable economy, staying informed is essential.